Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Meetinghouse of Provincetown, where we affirm the inherent worthiness and dignity of every person, and where we support each other on our spiritual search for truth and meaning. My name is Reverend Kate Wilkinson, and I am so glad that you are here with us this morning. Welcome to those of you in the room, and welcome also to those of you joining us via our live stream. Today is our Blue Holiday service. If you are not especially feeling the joyful holiday spirit, today's service is particularly for you. May you find some comfort in the words, the songs, and the rituals of this hour together. But before we begin our worship service, I do have a few announcements to share with you. A significant portion of our congregation sings in the Outer Cape Chorale. So some of you are here this morning, some of you are on your way to Orleans. We wish you to break a leg in your concert this afternoon. If you haven't been, you have one more opportunity to see it at the middle school in Orleans. December is such a busy month here at the Meetinghouse. This coming Saturday, December 21st at 5 o'clock, we'll be having our family-friendly solstice celebration downstairs in Acker-Bosworth Hall. Wonderful music and candlelight and a puppet show. Please let me know if you can help by bringing refreshments for after the celebration. On Sunday the 22nd, we're having a special coffee hour after the service, full of holiday cheer. Lisa is making that happen. Thank you, Lisa. If anyone else wants to bring treats that day, you are welcome to. Our Christmas Eve service is here in the sanctuary on Tuesday, December 24th at 7 o'clock. That is a beautiful traditional New England Christmas celebration with lots of carols and our favorite ritual, the passing of the light. Please let me know if you could be an usher that evening. And let Mary know if you'd like to sing with the choir Christmas Eve. They are going to be singing a really beautiful song called Sweet Silent Night. They are practicing on Thursday from 4 to 5 o'clock, and they will be gathering at 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve for a final rehearsal. You are always welcome to sing with the choir, by the way, but we are especially looking for some Christmas Eve singers. December 29th will be a Taizé service full of beautiful, quiet music and more candles, including the candles of our menorah. And then all of a sudden it will be 2025. How did that happen? But here in 2024, if you are here in person today, we hope that you will join us downstairs after the worship service ends for some coffee and conversation and good company in Acker-Bosworth Hall. Let's take a moment now to affirm our Meetinghouse covenant. You can find this on the printed purple laminated cards in your pews, or I'm just going to say it line by line so you can repeat each line back to me. Love is the spirit of this Meetinghouse. This is our great covenant. To dwell together in peace. To seek the truth in love. And to help one another. Now, as we light our chalice here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you who are watching from home to light a candle wherever you are. In that way, we can feel connected even while we are apart. And this morning, I invite our worship host, Eden, and Karen to light our chalice for us.
Good morning, everybody. To face the world's shadows, a chalice of light. To face the world's coldness, a chalice of warmth. To face the world's terrors, a chalice of courage. To face the world's turmoil, a chalice of peace. May its glow fill our spirits, our hearts, and our lives.
Thank you. So in addition to lighting our chalice this morning, we're also going to be lighting 3 of the candles on our Advent wreath. The placing of candles upon a circle of evergreens is an age-old tradition. Lighting additional candles each day or week as the light wanes has been part of human rituals for centuries upon centuries. The original Advent wreath in the Christian tradition dates back to the 16th century and included a candle for each of the 24 days leading up to Christmas. For us here in this time, our wreath has 4 candles. Today we'll relight the candles of hope and peace. And ironically, the 3rd candle, the joy candle, is scheduled to be lit this morning, the 3rd Sunday of Advent, when we have scheduled our Blue Holiday service about sadness. Now, this is not the first year that this has happened, and really, I think it's very appropriate, because joy and woe are woven fine, and so we make a little pocket of pink joy here on our altar, even as we devote most of the service to the bluer feelings that we are holding alongside. I invite Deb to light our Advent wreath this morning. Sean, can you turn on the handheld mic? Thanks.
The 3rd candle we light in this Advent season is for joy. Where do we find joy? Is it in the simple things like a warm and fragrant cup of tea? Or in something monumental like the birth of a new family member? In this, the season of sharing, may we find joy in the mundane, the monumental, the familiar, and the strange. Joy can sometimes be elusive, and so we light this candle to help guide our way. We light the candle of joy.
Thank you. Won't you please join me in singing our first hymn, number 222, in these gray hymnals, O Come, Emmanuel. That's number 225. Did I say 2? I meant 5. 225, O come, Emmanuel. Please rise as you are able. seated. I invite you now to join with me in a spirit of meditation and prayer. During the prayer or at any time during the service, you're invited to light a silent candle at the table to the right of the pulpit, where there is a journal to record your thoughts and prayers. After the prayer and a moment of silence, we'll sing together. It's a different song than we usually sing. Today we're going to sing hymn number 55, Dark of Winter. You can find that in the same gray hymnals. You might want to put your finger in the page now for 55 as I offer this prayer by Reverend M. Barclay. Gentle presence, patient listener, holy holder of it all, my prayer is this: I am so sad. It's not an ask, it's not a confession, it's an offering, the only one I have today. I'm praying it with hope. I know grief is a lifeline, tethering me to the world that should be, the one worth fighting for. As a practice of faith, I will not deaden these feelings that let me know all is not well. I will not adjust to cruelty or disregard for life, detaching myself from humanity, mine or others. I will not allow once unimaginable scenarios to be turned into everyday losses that no longer pierce my soul. And so here are my tears, and here is my tired body, and here is my foggy, distracted mind, bearing witness to the place within that aches for the ones I love, for friends and strangers, for everyone being pushed into impossible situations. My sadness is a testimony. It's not my only one. Tomorrow, hope or fight or curiosity will bear their truth and pull me back into the labors I love in the company of others. But today, the only riot in me is this sorrow, refusing to quiet your cry from within. We are made for so much better than this. Amen.
Our reading this morning is by a contemporary musician and poet, Kayleen Asbo. Asbo says, "Often when I have been deeply troubled and anxious, it is only by going to nature and making an earth art offering or picking up my pen to write a poem that I have found the balm my soul needed." Here's her poem, What to Do Next. Lie down in grass and feel the sun on your face. At night, gaze at the stars. Pick up your pen, your paintbrush, your instrument. Weep, wail, sing. Find the kindest poems you can lay your hands on. Repeat them over and over, wrapping them around your aching heart like a soft blanket, and rock yourself like you would a baby. Bury your bare feet in green grass or soft sand. Remind yourself, you still belong here, no matter how bleak today may seem. Reach out to one person more scared or suffering than you are. Send a love note, make a mandala, bake cookies, be extravagant with praise. The sorrow is vast. Do not let it devour you. As the darkness grows, may each of us become a candle of light. Thank you.
I've been reading a lot this week about holiday depression. One of the studies I found concluded that one of the most relevant factors in holiday depression is the individual's belief that everyone else is having a good time and engaged in loving family relationships. Spoiler alert, that's not true. It's not true, but we think it is, and this myth costs us so much because it deepens our feelings of sadness when actually we could be sharing them, holding them together. So this morning, let's name that we're not all having a good time. I mean, sometimes we're having a good time, but not always. Let's name that families are hard, and feelings are hard, and holidays are hard. My colleague, Reverend Deborah Falk, has written something called a litany of comfort for this season, and I'd like to share it with you now. Whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or solstice or none of the above, I think it applies, and you have a part. Every time I say, "This season brings forth many feelings," you are invited to respond by saying, "We find comfort in naming these feelings. We find some peace in being together." So let's try that. I say, "This season brings forth many feelings," and you say, "We find comfort in naming these feelings. We find some peace in being together." You got it. All around us are bright lights and merry messages, yet in our heart not all is joyful. There is grief with the loss of relationships. Those we love no longer with us because of death. Those we have loved who are estranged from us. Those we love yet experience a diminishment of intimacy. There's grief with the loss and change of relationship. Grief, bittersweet, for it is a consequence of the presence of love. The season brings forth many feelings. We find comfort in naming these feelings. We find some peace in being together. All around us are bright lights and merry messages, yet in our heart, not all is joyful. There may be pain in our bodies, physical pain as a natural outcome of aging, physical pain that presents itself in illness, pain in the body that forces us to change and imposes limitations. Pain, bittersweet, for physical experience includes both pain and pleasure, and this season brings forth many feelings. We find comfort in naming these feelings. We find some peace in being together. All around us are bright lights and merry messages, yet in our heart not all is joyful. There may be anger and regret with memories we hold. Anger with past experiences of hurt or abuse. Regret of our own actions that may have caused hurt to others. Anger that life has not turned out as we imagined. Regret for what we might have said or done. Anger and regret, bittersweet in presenting the possibility for healing and forgiveness. This season brings forth many feelings. We find comfort in naming these feelings. We find some peace in being together. All around us are bright lights and merry messages, yet in our heart not all is joyful. There may be a sense of hopelessness. Hopelessness in the face of so much violence and suffering. Hopelessness with attempts to heal our aching world and ourselves. Hopelessness in witnessing what we may not have managed to accomplish. Hopelessness, bittersweet, for its longing reminds us of our capacity for hope and the human spirit's tenacity and courage that rest deep within each of us as this season brings forth so many feelings. We find comfort in naming these feelings. We find some peace in being together. All around us are bright lights and merry messages, yet in our heart not all is joyful. We know grief and pain. We know anger and regret. We know hopelessness and loneliness. We know all these feelings. We name them. We live them, for such is the human experience, that love presents us with the possibility of being hurt, with the grief of loss. That connection holds the potential of loneliness and uncertainty. That forgiveness can begin to heal anger and regret. That being alive is a courageous act in which we engage all our emotions. And this season brings forth many feelings. We find comfort in naming these feelings. We find some peace in being together. Thank you. And now I invite Stuart to offer our second reading.
This is Downpour by Billy Collins. Last night, we ended up on the couch trying to remember all of the friends who had died so far. And this morning, I wrote them down in alphabetical order on the flip side of a shopping list you had left on the kitchen table. So many of them had been swept away as if by a hand from the sky. It was good to recall them. I was thinking under the cold lights of a supermarket as I guided a cart with a wobbly wheel up and down the long, strident aisles. I was on the lookout for blueberries, English muffins, linguine, heavy cream, light bulbs, apples, Canadian bacon, and whatever else was on the list, which I managed to keep grocery side up until I had passed outside through the electric doors, where I stopped to realize, as I turned the list over, that I had forgotten Terry O'Shea, as well as the bananas and the bread. It was pouring by then, spilling, as they say in Ireland, people splashing across the lot to their cars, and that is when I set out, walking slowly and precisely, a soaking wet man, bearing bags of groceries, walking as if in a procession honoring the dead. I felt I owed this to Terry, who was such a strong painter, for almost forgetting him, and to all the others who had formed a circle around him on the screen in my head. I was walking more slowly now, in the presence of the compassion the dead were extending to a comrade. Plus, I was in no hurry to return to the kitchen, where I would have to tell you all about Terry and the bananas and the bread.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to read the list of UU Meetinghouse members and friends who have died in 2024. These are some of the people who sat in these pews with us in Decembers past. When I reach the end of the list, I invite you to call out other names of people you are missing this morning in your own life. It's okay if we overlap. What's important is the remembering. Donna Clifford, Betty Cricket Comey, Susan Dill English, Michael Ekman, Kenneth Lonergan, Custodio Joseph Silva, Michael Stone, Richard White. Colleen Squires, Beatrice Morton, Thank you. Now is the time when we take a collection for the ongoing support of this meeting house and our shared ministry. As we enjoy a musical reflection by our choir, we welcome your donations here in the sanctuary or online through PayPal or Venmo. You can find that information on our website, uumh.org. At this point, I invite 3 volunteer ushers forward to take up our collection. On and off-site, your offerings will now be gratefully received.
Deep peace
Thank you. In her recent holiday letter, my colleague, Reverend Lauren Smith, was remembering that when her kids were small, they only decorated the top 2/3 of their Christmas tree. This dynamic will be familiar, Lauren says, to those with trees who have wily cats or small children. Within the reach of curious hands or paws, a few non-breakable ornaments might remain, but mostly the branches are stripped bare. As a child, Lauren says, I lived near the mountains. There's an altitude at which forest gives way to shrubbery and then barrenness. This is the tree line. Our tree, when the kids were little, was like a mountain flipped over, with all its emptiness at the bottom and the fullness at the top. A different kind of tree line. There's something about the memory of those trees that speaks to my heart, she says. Overfull and barren at the same time. They are a reminder of the complexity of the holiday season. I saw a post on Facebook the other day that said, "It's almost time to switch from my everyday anxiety to my fancy Christmas anxiety." My Christmas anxiety is so fancy, you guys. She sparkles. At our worship committee meeting the other day, we were discussing all of the holiday services coming up in December. Advent, solstice, Christmas Eve, Hanukkah. Unitarians celebrate everything, especially if it involves lighting candles. We love that. Every December, Kenneth and I are like, do we have enough candles? Let's order more, just in case. That's our fancy Christmas anxiety talking. Counting candles makes us feel like we are in control, when really very little in this world is controllable. The holidays are no different. So the worship committee was talking about all of our winter holiday services, pretending that we were in control by being organized. Do we do any kind of service for folks who are grieving? Asked one of the newer members of the committee. Yes, I said, we usually do a blue holiday service during December. And so we started talking about what we'd like to include. We talked about saying the names of those who have died, making room for depression and grief. We wanted to include soothing, comforting music. Some sad carols, maybe. Or maybe we could just listen to Joni Mitchell sing River and cry, Eden said. We were tempted. I've been talking to so many of you who either aren't feeling the holiday spirit this year, or who maybe could feel it if there were also space in this season for the realities of your complex lives, for all the things you are not in control of. You might be able to exchange gifts and light candles, but you are also getting a divorce. You are also accompanying your children through mental illness. You are also struggling to find housing. You are also grieving a loved one. You are also dealing with a difficult medical diagnosis. You are also worried about money. You are also facing the changes of an aging body and mind. You are also trying to make everything perfect for your kids. You are also sad that you don't have any kids. You are also caring for aging parents. You are also lonely. you are also watching the news. And how can we watch the news and still be okay? Our holidays are often spent at the tree line, balancing fullness and emptiness, joy and sorrow. As Unitarian Universalists, we seek inspiration from many sources: poetry, biblical texts, world religions, prophetic people from the past. I couldn't decide this morning if I wanted to give you some practical tips from WebMD or quote to you from A. Powell Davies. So I'm going to do both. You can take with you what is most useful to your spirit. WebMD offers 10 tips for coping with holiday stress and depression. Number 1, make realistic expectations for the holiday season. Be realistic about what you can and cannot do. Number 2, try not to set yourself up for disappointment and sadness by comparing today with the good old days of the past. Just be here. Number 3, if you are lonely, try volunteering some time to help others. Number 4, find holiday activities that are free, like looking at holiday lights, going window shopping, or watching the winter weather, whether it's a snowflake or a raindrop. Number 5, limit your drinking, they say. Excessive drinking will only increase your feelings of depression. Number 6, spend time with supportive and caring people. Well, we've all done that this morning. Good job, us. Number 7, make time to contact a long-lost friend or relative. Number 8, make time for yourself. Number 9, let others share the responsibilities of holiday tasks. And finally, number 10, keep track of your holiday spending. Overspending now can lead to depression when the bills arrive after the holidays are over. And finally, those words from A. Powell Davies. Davies gave this wartime Christmas sermon in Washington, D.C.'s All Souls Unitarian Church in 1944, as our country continued to battle against Nazi Germany. It was entitled, "Christmas Always Begins at Midnight." He said, "Early man rolled wheels of fire down the mountainsides at midnight on what we now call Christmas Eve. This was to encourage the sun by example. He kept the Yule log burning, containing the life of the sacred tree consumed in the sacred element fire from which the sun might be rekindled. He burnt his torches, precursors of our Christmas candles. These and a myriad other things, many of which in a disguised and softened fashion still survive as Christmas customs. But in all of them, man flung his own desperate courage against the precariousness of his circumstances. Presently, out of the vindication of his faith came his joy, and upon it he built his winter festivals." And it's interesting to notice, Davies preached, that in legend upon legend and story after story, Christmas always begins not with daybreak and the coming of morning, but at midnight. It was at midnight that the primitive observances began, or as near to it as their reckoning could bring them. It was in the darkest hour of the night, not in the glow of morning, that the shepherds of the legend heard the angels sing. And of course, 3 wise men were guided not by the sun, but by a star. The legends have grown both beautiful and fanciful, yet they have never drifted out of the darkness into premature daylight. They have stayed quite close to the inner truth from which they draw their substance, the truth that man must find his faith not in the daylight, but in the dark. If he is ever to come to the light of morning, he must carry his own light within him through the night. Yes, and not only so, but he must make his songs in the darkness too, and sing them first at midnight. He must proclaim in the desert a highway when there is no way at all, not even a path or a trail. He must. And evidently, he can. That is the ground of hope, that he can. Friends, he can, and we can. So here's our plan for December. Let us pay attention. Let us reach out to those who are struggling. Let us be gentle with ourselves. Let us give comfort. Let us love in the darkness. Let us carry our own light into the dawn. Amen. And blessed be. Please join me in singing our closing hymn, number 1002. This one is in the Teal hymnals. It's number 1002, Comfort Me. Please rise as you are able. be seated.
It has become our practice to pose a question based on the theme of the service each week. It can be a topic of sharing at coffee hour today or with friends during the week. If you'd like to delve deeper into this topic, we invite you to our midweek Zoom coffee hour on Tuesday at 5 p.m. If you are not on our email folk list and need that Zoom link, please let Kenneth in the office know. Our question this week is, who are you going to check in on this holiday season? Who are you going to check in on this holiday season?
Let us look around then for who is not among us, or who is over-functioning, or who is simply too still or too quiet. Let us find the kindest poems we can lay our hands on and repeat them over and over, wrapping them around our aching hearts like a soft blanket. And as the darkness grows, may each of us become a candle of light. And Eden, this is for you.
It's coming on Christmas. We're cutting down trees, putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. But it don't snow here, it stays pretty green. I'm gonna make a lot of money, and I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Oh, I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby cry. She tried hard to help me, you know, she put me at ease. And she loved me so naughty, made me weak in the knees. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I'm so hard to handle, you know, I'm selfish and I'm sad. Now I gone and lost the best baby that I ever had. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Oh, I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly, fly. coming on Christmas. They're cutting down trees. They're putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate